So now we're going to do the first of our polishing of our video, and this episode will concern itself just with one aspect of that, and that's L cutting. Well, that's what my nephew calls it, and he's in the biz, so that's what I'm going to call it. It's where you take a cut like this and adjust it slightly so it looks like an L. Now the theory behind it is that if you're watching a conversation between two people, you don't know when they're going to talk. So if you're looking at person A and then person B starts to talk, you then turn and look at person B, but you've missed the very beginning of person B. And also sometimes you might look back to person A while person B is talking. So if you edit or move it to sort of emulate that thing, it looks a bit more professional and a little bit more realistic and a little bit more polished. So we're going to do a bit of that today. The whole thing is based on the sound. So the first thing we're going to attend to is having a really clean soundtrack right down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through the video and listen very carefully to the sound, just to make sure that the sound is really smooth and I'm not cutting characters off or other characters can be heard in the background and so on. And once I've done that, we can then start our L cutting. It's probably going to be very difficult for you to hear, but I'll do my best to sort of lean close to the speaker so that you can hear what's happening, because sound is so important. Turn my sound up, and there we go. Alright, so step one is to play across our video.
Take heed how you call our person, how you awaken our sleeping sword of war, for never two such kingdoms did contend without much fall of blood. May I, with right and conscience, make this claim. There is no bar to your highness' claim. Stand for your own, unwind your bloody flag.
Your Roman kings all expect that you should rouse yourself as did before my lives of your blood.
Never king of England had nobles richer and more loyal subjects, that hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilioned in the fields of France. Oh, let their bodies follow my lead.
Okay, so that's quite satisfactory, so I won't make any adjustments to that this time around. One thing that I'm noting for the future, and we'll do that in a later episode, is fix up the bit where this girl who's filling in for a student who is away doesn't quite get her lines right in this take, but we can actually fix that so it sounds perfect. Okay, so now we'll do the L cutting. First thing we need to do is to separate the audio and the video. If I click on any of these clips, you'll see that both the audio and the video track are highlighted, and in order to do this L cutting I need to separate them and unlink them. So that's what I'm going to do. This one's already been done. If you remember from the last episode, we just fixed up the beginning. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that to the rest. So I've selected it, I'm right clicking, unlink audio and video, and I'm going to do that to the whole lot. It's probably possible to set the project up in a way that they get dropped down unlinked, but I haven't bothered to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to think about how the shots are going to cut together and decide where my L's are going to go. So first I'm going to play across this edit here. Well, what I might do is I might cut to these guys just before she finishes talking. I can see where she's talking, that's the last bit of her voice there. Maybe conscience is a good one. May I with right and conscience make this claim, because it's the Archbishop of Canterbury and the Bishops of Ely. So I might cut on conscience.
May I, with right and
Conscience, that's the place where I'm going to go. So I'm going to cut my video track, so I'm selecting my video, use my little scissors. I'm going to grab that, I'm going to just slide it up out of the way. It's still there. And I'm going to pull my archbishops across, and I'm going to delete that. Let's have a listen and a look.
May I, with right and conscience, make this plain? There's no God.
And I think that works quite well. Especially goes on that conscience, so we're listening for points that can be made in the dialogue, and then we can have the edit enhance those points. So what I'll do now is I will go ahead and do the rest of the clip, and I'll edit the tedium out, and we'll have a look at the end at our first bit of L cutting. So I've now finished my first pass with the L cutting. I'm now going to play across the whole clip, and we'll see how that works now.
Take heed how you warn our person, how you awaken our sleeping sword of war. For never two such kingdoms seen content without much fall of blood. May I, with right and conscience, make this claim? There is no bar to your highness' claim. Stand for your own, unwind your bloody flag.
Your brother kings do all expect that you should realize yourself as did the former lines of your blood.
Never king of England had nobles richer and more loyal subjects, that hearts have left their bodies here in England and lie pavilioned in the fields of France. Oh, let their bodies follow my lead.
And that's okay. So what I will now do is I'll continue to fiddle with the cutting, and I'll end up with what I think is a really good basic cut, and in the next episode we'll show you the next step, which is called cutaways. As ever, save as you go. I would normally save a lot more often, but I'm afraid this computer will crash during these demonstrations because I've got a lot of programs running, but my hand now knows to press Control S without me thinking of it. So every time I did one of these edits, I would have pressed Control S if I wasn't in demonstration mode. And boy, that can save you a lot of grief. Okay, see you next time.